Have you ever wondered how countries trade with each other? It's a question that brings us to the heart of the global economy, to the bustling world of international trade. This isn't just about shipping products from one country to another. Instead, it's a complex, dynamic system that's integral to our daily lives. International trade, in its simplest form, is the exchange of goods and services between countries. It's the reason you can enjoy a cup of Colombian coffee in the morning, wear a t-shirt made in Bangladesh, and use a smartphone designed in the United States. It's a global marketplace that connects producers and consumers across nations, continents, and cultures. So, why does international trade happen? It's all about diversity and specialization. Different countries have different resources, skills, and technologies. By trading, they can focus on what they do best and then swap those goods and services. It's like a giant potluck dinner, where each country brings its unique dish to the table. The benefits of international trade are vast and varied. It opens up access to a wider variety of goods and services, often at lower prices. It fuels economic growth, creating jobs and boosting income levels. It fosters innovation, competition, and efficiency. It's a tide that lifts all boats, benefiting both developed and developing nations. But international trade doesn't just happen. It's regulated by a system of tariffs, quotas, and trade agreements. Tariffs are taxes on imported goods, used as a tool to protect domestic industries. Quotas limit the quantity of certain goods that can be imported, and trade agreements? They're like the rule book, setting the terms of trade between countries. So, international trade is not just about shipping goods across borders, it's a complex system that drives the global economy. It's a story of cooperation and competition, of opportunities and challenges. And in our upcoming videos, we'll delve deeper into this intricate world, exploring topics like letters of credit, standby letters of credit, bank guarantees, and more. So stay tuned, there's a lot more to learn about the fascinating world of international trade. So, how does international trade actually work? Imagine you're a business owner who's found a potential buyer or seller on the other side of the globe. The first step is to negotiate the terms of the deal. This includes deciding on the price, quantity, and delivery date of the goods. It's a dance of diplomacy, where both parties strive to reach a mutually beneficial agreement. Once the terms are set, the next step is arranging transportation. This is where shipping companies come into play. Whether it's by air, sea, or land, these companies are the workhorses of international trade, moving goods from one country to another. But it's not just about getting the goods from point A to point B. It's also about navigating the complex web of customs regulations and import-export laws. This brings us to the role of government agencies. They oversee the flow of goods across borders, enforcing laws and regulations that ensure trade is fair and legal. They also collect tariffs, which are taxes on imported goods. These tariffs can affect the final price of the goods, so it's crucial to factor them into the negotiation process. Finally, we have the payment process. This is where banks come into the picture. They facilitate transactions between buyers and sellers, often through instruments like letters of credit, which guarantee that a seller will be paid once the agreed-upon conditions are met. This provides a layer of security in international trade, especially when dealing with large sums of money. But let's not forget about the role of insurance companies. They provide coverage for the goods during transit, protecting businesses from potential losses due to damage or theft. This is yet another layer of security that helps keep the wheels of international trade turning. So, there you have it. From finding a buyer or seller, to negotiating terms, arranging transportation, navigating regulations, and ensuring payment, international trade is a complex process that involves many parties. Each one plays a crucial role in ensuring that goods move smoothly across borders. As you can see, international trade is a team effort, with many players working together to ensure goods move smoothly from one country to another. But international trade is not without its challenges and risks. Now let's dive into these potential hazards and how businesses can navigate them. Firstly, political instability can create significant disruptions. Governments around the world can change laws, impose tariffs, or even experience coups or civil unrest. This kind of instability can make it tough for businesses to predict costs or ensure reliable supply chains. Next, we have the ever-present risk of currency fluctuations. The value of money can change rapidly in the global economy, and these shifts can have a substantial impact on profits. For instance, if you're an American company importing British goods and the pound suddenly strengthens against the dollar, you'll find yourself paying more for the same products. Last but not least, a major concern in international trade is non-payment. After all, it's one thing to strike a deal with a buyer, but it's another to ensure they follow through and pay up. And when you're dealing with international borders, chasing up debts can be a complex and costly process. So, how can businesses mitigate these risks? For political instability, companies can spread their risk by diversifying their markets. If one country faces unrest or changes its trade policies, the impact on the business is reduced as it has other markets to fall back on. To combat currency fluctuations, businesses can turn to hedging. This involves using financial instruments to lock in a specific exchange rate for a future date, protecting companies from unexpected shifts in currency values. And when it comes to non-payment, secure methods of payment such as letters of credit, bank guarantees, and insurance can offer a safety net. These tools provide assurance that payment will be received even if the buyer defaults. Despite these challenges, businesses around the world continue to engage in international trade as the benefits often outweigh the risks. And with the right strategies, these risks can be managed effectively, paving the way for global success. Now, let's delve deeper into some of the tools that facilitate international trade. One of the most common financial instruments used in international trade is a letter of credit. This is essentially a promise by a bank on behalf of the buyer, assuring the seller that the payment will be made in full and on time. In the event that the buyer is unable to make the payment, the bank steps in and fulfills the obligation. This provides a safety net for the seller, reducing the risk of non-payment. Next, we have the standby letter of credit. It's a bit like a safety net for the safety net. This tool is used in situations where there is a high risk of non-compliance from the buyer. It's a guarantee given by the bank that in case the buyer fails to fulfill their contractual obligations, the bank will cover the loss. It's like an insurance policy for the seller, providing an extra layer of security. Last but not least, we have bank guarantees. This is a broad term that covers any guarantee from a bank that liabilities of a debtor will be met. In other words, if the debtor fails to settle a debt, the bank will cover it. Bank guarantees are used to ensure that a buyer or seller will fulfill their obligations under a contract. They provide a level of assurance that other financial instruments don't, making them a vital tool in international trade. These financial instruments, while different in their specifics, all serve the same core purpose: mitigating the risks inherent in international trade. By providing a level of security and assurance, they help to foster trust between trading partners, making it more feasible and less risky to conduct business on a global scale. In a world where business transactions are increasingly crossing borders, these tools are more important than ever. They help to bridge the gap between different legal systems and business practices, providing a common ground upon which international trade can flourish. These financial tools are crucial in providing security and peace of mind in international trade transactions. So, that's a brief overview of international trade. We've taken you on a journey today through the bustling world of international trade. We've navigated through its mechanics, understanding how transactions flow from one corner of the globe to another. We've also exposed some of the risks and challenges that traders face, from fluctuating exchange rates to geopolitical uncertainties. But this is only scratching the surface of what international trade entails. In this vast ocean of global commerce, there are several tools and mechanisms that traders use to ensure smooth transactions. One such tool is the letter of credit. It's a document issued by a bank that essentially guarantees a buyer's payment to a seller. If the buyer is unable to complete the payment, the bank will cover the full or remaining amount. Sounds intriguing, doesn't it? But wait, there's more. Standby letters of credit, for instance, are a safety net for businesses, ensuring payment in the event of a failed transaction. Then there are bank guarantees, another form of financial security in international trade. These topics and more will be the focus of our upcoming videos. We'll break down each one, explaining how they work and why they're so important in the world of international trade. We'll also delve into other topics related to international trade, unraveling the complexities and making them easy to understand. Our journey into international trade is far from over. In fact, it's just beginning. There's so much more to explore, to understand, and to learn. So we invite you to join us as we continue this journey, diving deeper into the world of letters of credit, standby letters of credit, bank guarantees, and more. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more insightful videos on international trade. Stay tuned for our next video, where we will dive deeper into the world of letters of credit and more. Until then, keep trading and keep learning.